It's 5:30 p.m. We are in the Bosch-Freilich Meeting Room, Mandan City Hall. Mr. Neubauer, could you please call the roll?
Commissioners Heinchan.
Here.
Braun. Rohr.
Here.
Schoberg.
Here.
Mayor Freilich.
Here. Tonight, Commissioner Schoberg's sister, Manette, and her husband, Brad Hansen, are here from Sedona, Arizona, visiting for a week to experience this lovely weather. And they will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. We have a special guest here today. We have Eva Benz sitting next to me. She is going to be the mayor, or experience being the mayor tonight somewhat. She won the essay contest at school, and each year the North Dakota League of Cities hosts a statewide If I Were Mayor essay contest for 3rd and 7th grade students. Communications staff reached out to Mandan 3rd and 7th graders about the contest, as well as including in the Mandan Messenger, e-Messenger, and promoted it on the city's website and social media. This year, only one essay for Mandan student was received, and it was Eva Benz. She's a 7th grader in the middle school, and her teacher is Miss Egley. So at this point, I would like to introduce Eva, I'm having a tough time. And you're going to read your essay.
If I were a mayor. I live in Mandan, North Dakota, where education is one of its main priorities. The district takes great pride in helping students excel in every aspect of life before, during, and after high school. Whether students choose to go to college, join the military, or do something in the blue-collar industry, the Mandan School District prepares their students for their futures. With 94.6% of Mandan students having a high school diploma, it is very clear that learning is extremely important to Mandan. However, as the Mandan schools continue to grow, so do the number of vehicles on the roads. With more students driving to and from school, one could worry about the pollution from all the cars and buses. There is nothing better than driving home at night and seeing the stars and the moon shine brightly. North Dakota is very privileged to get that opportunity, unlike some states like New York, who will never get the chance to experience that beauty. This is why, if I were mayor, I would like to make an active effort to sustain the purity of our air. The first thing I would do is promote biking to limit the usage of gas. I would invest in biking trails and offer an incentive to anyone who would be willing to travel on a bike. I would start an organization for school-age students to get involved with the community by having them plant trees around town. Trees are vital to helping with pollution because they suck in carbon dioxide for photosynthesis and release new, clean oxygen into the environment. In addition, I would devote time in putting a carpool lane at school so less cars are being utilized. This would also be beneficial for helping kids build bonds with their peers and to integrate with other families in the community. It's not difficult to see that Mandan has many notable features, but according to John Maxwell, growth equals change. If you want to get better, you have to keep changing and improving. I think there are zero limits to what can be done, so that's why, if I were mayor, I'd be constantly trying to evolve with my community. Whether it deals with pollution or the other problems that my city faces, I would always be proactive in trying to help achieve greatness within the community.
Thank you very much. Now, we will have Shane O'Keefe from Public Works to discuss the open house on May 22nd.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. I'd like to take a moment to recognize that this week, May 18th through May 24th, is National Public Works Week. It's a time to celebrate the people behind the essential services that keep our city safe, functional, and thriving. This year's theme is People, Purpose, and Presence. speaks directly to the heart of Public Works. It's about the people we serve, the purpose that motivates us, and the steady presence of our team who work behind the scenes unnoticed but always essential. Public Works professionals rarely seek recognition, but they deserve it. When our roads are clear, water is running, and services go uninterrupted, that's when Public Works is doing its job well. Our crews are always there, ready to respond, maintain, and improve the infrastructure that supports daily life in Mandan. We're excited to host a Public Works open house at our facility located at 411 6th Avenue Southwest on Thursday, May 22nd from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. This event will include participation from some of our vendors, free rides and Public Works equipment, a light meal for all who attend. It's a great opportunity for families and residents to meet the team and see the equipment up close. I want to thank every member of our Public Works Department for their hard work, dedication, commitment to Mandan, and please join me in recognizing them and celebrating National Public Works Week. Thank you.
Shane, is there food being served?
Yes, there is.
What do you hot dogs?
We'll have hamburgers and hot dogs,
Okay.
maybe even cookies.
Cookies too. Okay. Thank you. And with that, we're going to transition. Since we were talking about heavy equipment, we're going to transition to Matt Shannondor to discuss this past weekend's Touch-A-Truck. He's going to join us via Zoom.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Yes, thank you for letting me chime in via Zoom here this evening to talk about the past weekend's Touch-A-Truck event, which went off very, very well. We squeaked in with some very nice weather between two very rainy systems. So we had one good day of weather, and we took advantage of it in downtown Mandan. Big thanks to the Mandan PD, Captain Hogg there, just with the safety and everything that we put into play. This particular Touch-A-Truck event went off very well. We had about 45 industrial type businesses that participated in the event on Main Street showcasing trucks, and we had roughly around 75 individual vehicles that were parked on Main Street for the event. Our estimated attendance for the Touch Truck this year was about 6,500 people. Came out and had a lot of fun visiting with the truck operators, the kids getting in the trucks, seeing that. We had some pretty good views with the 3 American flags that were being flown from the equipment pieces that were sticking quite a ways high in the air. Central West Services had a pump truck that went about 13 stories into the air and had a flag flying on it, so you could see that for quite a bit of a distance leading into Mandan. But yeah, great thanks to the food vendors, the craft vendors, the Mandan Lions for providing the inflatables that were in Dykeshorn Park. It was just a very, very fun Saturday in Mandan.
Thank you, Matt. Congratulations. You guys did a great job. Also, thank you to Pat Haug from the police department for the planning, and also to the Public Works. They put a lot of work into placing trucks on the avenues and at the end of Main Street, and also the signage. So good job by everybody. And now, Commissioner Rohr, you had an announcement to make?
I just want to put a plug in for the North Dakota Peace Officers Memorial Service that was held on May 15th. And each year, this is strictly for North Dakota Peace Officers, where we recognize the officers who were killed in line of duty. And overall, there's been 69 police officers in the state of North Dakota that have been killed in the line of duty. And 2 of them actually were from Mandan. And there was a Neil Romer, who was there in 1926, and a Hans Jess in 1929, whose names are recognized for that. But it's good that each year, especially with the current events, to continue to recognize police officers, firemen, of course, other city people as well. It's good to keep those things alive and we recognize, especially those who have given up a lot for their work, whether it be their lives or their time, their families, and other things too, to make our community safe. And also our Chief Ziegler is the president of the North Dakota Chiefs Association, so he represents us very well, and he's there to work with these activities, and we thank you, Chief, for working with that and your continued participation, our continued participation, and recognizing these officers.
Yes, thank you. Commissioners, you have the agenda in front of you. Could I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So I move to approve the agenda for tonight.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Rohr, second by Commissioner Heinchan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioners Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. You have the minutes in front of you. Could I get a motion to approve the minutes from the May 6th, 2025 City Commission meeting?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of the May 6, 2025 Board of City Commissioners meeting minutes.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Schoberg, a second by Commissioner Heinchan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioners Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. We'll move on to item number F. 1, consider a variance for Lot 1, Block 35 of Mandan proper. Jordan?
Good evening, Mayor Freilich, Commissioners, and honorary guest Eva Benz. Before you tonight, we have two public hearings. The first one being a variance request from downtown. The Church of St. Joseph is requesting a variance to construct a new office building across the street from the rectory with a reduced front setback on the north side. This is the 3rd Street side, and I can pull it up here in a minute. That does not currently meet the zoning requirements. Specifically, the church is proposing a 7-foot setback from the street, which is 8 feet less than the required 15 feet. City staff believe this reduced setback is appropriate, and the reasons for that is that it aligns with the character of the neighboring properties that also sit close to the street. In addition, the church is seeking approval to use its existing off-street parking lot located approximately 100 feet north of the site near Mandan's post office to fulfill parking requirements for this designed office building. The Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing on the request in April of this year. The commission found that the small and irregular shape of the lot presents a valid hardship, and that the proposed variance represents the minimum relief necessary to reasonably use the property. As such, the request meets the criteria for granting a variance under the city current regulations. The application in your packet includes the building plans, the landscaping plans, a letter from the applicant, and the required statement of hardship from the board that was passed in this April. Staff recommends the approval of the variance contingent upon the execution and recording of a shared parking agreement to ensure that the off-site lot remains tied to the office building of which they're asking the requested variance from city code. They also need to go through mark approval, but I don't need that in the request from this board at this time. And I guess if there's anything else that you need, I do have pulled up the building and what it would look like on your screen. As you can see, it would be a house that's on the corner of 3rd Street, and it would be demoed, and then this would be the site where they would add this office structure. So, and there's full plans in here as well as the landscaping and all the things that we would require for this. And this is where you'd get your varied setback. I'll zoom in so you can see it. From that is the 7-foot. We also would like to have a public hearing on this. So before we have that, I would ask for, if you guys have any questions of me, I can try to answer them and then open the public hearing.
Commissioners, any
Mayor,
questions?
Mayor Jordan, is this a project they want to have finished before the end of the year?
It's a great question. I don't think it's going to be happening this year yet. So
When you say not going to be happening, in other words, they won't even get started on it this year yet?
they may not. It depends.
That's my question. That answered that. Thank you.
Jordan, did you want to bring Darren up to speak on that?
We can, yeah. And if he wants to answer anything that you guys would have during the public hearing, he can as well. So
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Darren Buffington. I'm representing Father Josh Walsh this evening. We were going to build this building this year, was the plan. However, Father ran into some other hardships with the church and have decided to do some fundraising, and there will be other little projects going on within the campus of the church. And this building we'll have to do some fundraising, and next year this time we plan on is the projected start date.
Thank you. Any other questions for Darren? Okay, thank you, Darren.
Thank you.
No other questions for Jordan? With that, we will open the public hearing and ask for comments from the public. First call for comments. Second call for comments. Third and final call for comments. With hearing none, the public hearing is closed. Commissioners, what are your wishes?
I move to approve the building setback variance and shared parking agreement contingent upon the approval and recording of a shared parking arrangement.
Second.
We have motion by Commissioner Rohr, a second by Commissioner Heinchan. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Commissioners Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Rohr,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. Item number 2, consider a variance for Lot 2, Block 1, Midway 10th Edition. Jordan?
yes, good evening again, Mayor Freilich, Commissioners, and Eva Benz, our honorary guest tonight. For you is our second public hearing for the night. Abra Auto Body is requesting a setback variance to allow an addition to their existing building at 3729 Memorial Highway, which would encroach into the side yard setback required for properties zoned in the CC Commercial District. The proposed project involves a rear building extension of 60 feet, adding approximately 6,930 square feet of auto body repair space. The addition would be built in line with the existing structure and maintain a 13 1/3 foot setback along the platted but undeveloped 36th Avenue Southeast, which I'll show you on Google Maps in a second. This is 22 feet less than the required 35-foot side yard setback for a corner lot in that specific CC zoning district. The existing building, originally constructed in 1965 and expanded in 1978, was developed under different zoning regulations that did not require a 35-foot side yard setback. It is staff's understanding that the years after this building was built, right-of-way was dedicated adjacent to this property for 36th Avenue, which then made this a corner lot, hence our problem. As a result, the current structure legally encroaches into the setback and is considered a non-conforming use. In addition to the expansion, the project includes storefront improvements such as reorientating the main entrance to face Memorial Highway and squaring off the facade to enhance visual appearance and access. And I do also have that on my screen as well. This is their proposed building front. You can see kind of off to the right here. I'll zoom in for you. So some significant improvements along Memorial Highway, which we're definitely glad they're doing. The Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing in April and recommended approval of the variance. The commission found that the property became a corner lot due to actions by neighboring property owners, which imposed stricter setback standards and created a legitimate hardship. The request was deemed consistent with the intent of the zoning ordinance, and therefore all criteria for a zoning variance have been met. The application statement of hardship is included with the application materials. Staff recommends approval of the variance contingent upon mark approval. And I will take you down to where this is on Google Maps just to give you a visual, if I can get there here. This is currently between Abra and Keller Hearth and Home Products, and here is your street that is not going anywhere currently, but as said, when constructed earlier in its time, is the reason for that. So, and we may have a tree problem in our right of way also. So, the building addition, and you can kind of see it would go no further than what the current structure is. So the variance request that they are asking for is a continuation of this part of this building forward. So nothing new is getting encroached, but they are already there. So that's the request we have for the variance. Any questions for me? Once again, public hearing on this one, but I'll take anything before that.
Any questions for Jordan? Hearing none, thank you, Jordan. We will open the public hearing. First call for comments. Second call for comments. Third and final call for comments. Hearing none, the public hearing is closed. Commissioners?
I'll move to approve the setback variance as presented in the agenda packet, contingent upon Mandan Architectural Review Commission review and approval.
Second.
We have motion by Commissioner Schoberg, a second by Commissioner Heinchan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioners Heinchan,
Yes.
Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. We'll move on to agenda item G, bids. Consider concurring to award a bid for the North Dakota Department of Transportation chip seal projects. Jarek?
Mayor, Commissioners, and Ms. Benz, good evening. On May 9th, the North Dakota Department of Transportation opened bids for the I-94 and North Dakota Highway 810 chip seal project. The low bid came from Asphalt Preservation Company in the amount just above $2 million. The city of Mandan has a 10% participation in the North Dakota Highway 810 portion of this project, and we have a financial responsibility of an estimated amount of about $14,000. Since we have this participation, the North Dakota Department of Transportation is requesting a concurrence from us in the bid award, and we have reviewed the bids, and we are recommending to concur with the North Dakota Department of Transportation's bid award to the low bidder. I can answer any questions if you have any, otherwise.
Any questions for Jarek? Hearing none. Commissioners?
I move to approve the resolution of concurrence for the NDDOT projects as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Heinchan, a second by Commissioner Rohr. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioners Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. We'll move on to H, consent agenda. Are there any items that you would like removed from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I would ask for a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Rohr, a second by Commissioner Schoberg. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioners Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. We will move on to new business. Consider approval of the 2025 North Dakota Game and Fish Boat or Recreational Boat Safety Funding Agreement. Mr. Bitts.
Good evening, Mayor, Honorary Mayor, and Commissioners. I come before you this evening to respectfully request your permission to complete and execute the paperwork allowing us to formally accept grant funding through North Dakota Game and Fish Department. I believe it was August of 2024 that this commission allowed fire department staff to apply for the grant through the North Dakota Game and Fish Department, as well as solicit donations throughout the community for our local matching part of the grant. Our total project cost is about $70,000. We were eligible for just over $35,000 of federal money that's processed through the North Dakota Game and Fish Department, and then our staff was able to solicit about $39,000 in donations from our local businesses, nonprofits, and citizens. So I would just like to take a moment to specifically thank Battalion Chief Welticall and our other staff for their work on, one, applying for the grant, and two, working with our community partners and soliciting those funds. We will formally recognize those who have contributed financially to this project once we get the boat purchased and in service. So I guess in short, if anybody's at home that wants to still contribute to the fire department, Equipment Reserve Fund, there's still time to get on that list. So, but we are very appreciative of all the support we've received in the community, and we will recognize once we get down that road. So just to go a little bit further, if I can explain, because there's been a lot of questions in the community about what we have for a response as a metro area on our waters, and what we have specifically as a Mandan Fire Department. There's nothing wrong with our response now. We just see an opportunity to augment it as a city of Mandan Fire Department could contribute with our Lakewood station being positioned so close to the water. And we are starting to, as we build up our staffing, we will be able to more quickly respond out to the water. Again, so we're not replacing the dive rescue team or anything like that. We've worked closely with Morton County. We've been in communication with them, Burleigh County Water Rescue, City of Bismarck Fire Department, and we see this as an opportunity to make the response even better for our citizens that are on the water. So, in doing so, when we've been talking with those agencies, we've decided that a rib boat is probably the best type of boat that would be best fit our response model as a metro area, again, as a combined effort. And RIB stands for Rigid Inflatable Boat. So it's probably looking at like an aluminum hull with inflatable air tubes on the side. These boats are kind of specifically designed for water rescue, both in standing still water as well as under moving water like the Missouri River. So, and then the boat has a very shallow draft, so it can run in as little as 8 inches of water, 8 to 9 inches of water with a jet propulsion motor. So, anyways, in summary, we've talked to a couple local boat dealerships, and we've talked to a couple boat manufacturers. So once we get this formalized tonight, we'll continue to work with them and see if we can buy it locally. If not, we do have a source to get one from the other manufacturers outside of the area. But so tonight, in summary, we're asking for permission to formally proceed with executing on the grant paperwork, and then proceed with either buying a boat locally or working with our local vendors to see if they can order us a boat that'll fit our needs. So at this time, I stand for any questions you may have.
Chief, is the boat going to be dry docked at the station, or will it be docked at a location on one of the bays?
Mayor, Commissioners, that's a great question. Originally, we were thinking about trying to station it at one of the local marinas, but in talking to the manufacturers of these types of boats, the UV rays are extremely hard on the rubber tubing of the boat, and then the other problem is if the incident is north of Mandan, now that we have our recent boat dock put in, it might be quicker to actually tow the rescue asset up to the boat dock and deploy it. And I failed to mention that earlier. We do plan to assign this rescue boat as well as the tow vehicle to Lakewood Station 2. I'm not sure if I mentioned that or not, but it will be in the station ready to go, and then respond from there.
Chief Betts, will there be a need to train any of our firefighters in scuba diving certification and so on?
Mayor, honorary mayor, and commissioners, Commissioner Schoberg. Not so much scuba. It's because we don't plan, at this point in time, we don't plan as a Mandan Fire Department, as our agency, to do subsurface rescues. We will train in conjunction with the local dive teams. So we want to, our intention at this point is to stay surface rescue only as our staff, just because that's a whole nother discipline and a whole nother set of equipment that we are not equipped for right now. So this would be to augment the dive teams and stuff like that. So the boat we're looking at will have thermal imaging capabilities, so we can search the surface at night, and it will also have sonar capability, side scanning sonar, so we can look underneath and start pinpointing locations and stuff like that. But as far as physically diving, we'll still rely on our partners to do the actual diving.
So emergency response equipment on the boat would be like a backboard, or what would that be? You'd be doing surface rescue, correct?
Correct, Mayor. So we'll have some basic medical supplies, some throw bags, some emergency lights and thermal imaging capabilities and stuff like that. So to do surface rescues, or even sometimes stranded boat rescues and stuff like that. So.
Okay. Any other questions for Chief Bitts? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to allow staff to enter into an agreement with the North Dakota Game and Fish Department to accept the 2025 Recreational Boat Safety Program grant funding and allow fire department staff to proceed with the boat purchase as described above.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Heinchan, a second by Commissioner Schoberg. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, Mr. Neubauer.
Commissioners Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Rohr,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes, motion passes. Item number 2 under new business, consider a storefront improvement application for Napa Auto Parts, 400 East Main Street, Madison.
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners, and Miss Mayor Benz, aka Queen, we'll say. The Mandan Growth Fund Committee met on May 14th, 2025, and agenda items included consideration of an application for storefront improvement of 400 East Main Street by Napa Auto Parts. And I will show on screen some of their images as I talk. So, Napa Auto Parts has occupied the building at 400 East Main Street for the past 30 years. The owner has agreed it is time for a refresh on the facade. Plans for remodeling include the brick surface being painted gray and blue. The gray brick will cover the bottom 3 feet of the building. Blue siding will cover the top 6 feet, with gray metal siding covering the center section. New upgraded LED lighting will be installed with the current Napa logo on the center section of the building, with 2 Napa Bolt logos on each side facing Main Street and 4th Avenue. The LED lighting will be a dark LED and transform throughout the day. The main doors will become double glass doors with ADA upgrades. This improvement will make the 2 buildings, you can kind of see on the screen here. This improvement will make the 2 buildings that are next to each other, next to one another, consistent in appearance and be more aesthetically pleasing, similarly like the Old 10 restaurant building directly across Main Street from Napa Auto. The exterior building received approval from the Mandan Architecture Review Committee at its May 13th, 2025 meeting. The estimated cost of these improvements is currently at $107,778. There will be a larger increase in pricing for siding due to the decision to go with standing seam once an updated bid is presented to the applicant. That would put a total amount to $120,000. The traditional match is $30,000 for a building, but there's a provision in the Storefront Improvement Program guidelines that allows up to $60,000 for corner lot buildings. The applicant is applying for a $60,000 match pending updated bid cost amounts. Funds will not be dispersed until the project is complete and expenses verified by staff. And the recommendation by the Mandan Growth Fund voted 8-0, 1 absent, to recommend approval of the storefront improvement application for 400 East Main Street by Napa Auto Parts for up to $60,000 in matching funds to be structured as a forgivable loan. I can answer any questions, and as well, we have our applicants here with us tonight. So if you have any questions for them, they would be happy to answer them as well.
Any questions for Madison?
Madison, I think you covered this already, but facing Main Street, there's a storefront, if you will, that does belong to Napa, but the visual front is much lower than the actual store. Will that be brought into alignment through the use of colors?
Correct, Mayor and Commissioner Schoberg. And if you, on the screen, I have where they do have that lower bottom section. And that's one of their main improvements is making that, combined to make it look consistent as aesthetically pleasing for everyone. And if you go kind of by it, you can tell the wood is really rotted and needs some love. So we're happy that that's going to happen.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions for Madison? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the storefront improvement application for 400 East Main Street by Napa Auto Parts for up to $60,000 in matching funds to be structured as a forgivable loan.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Schoberg, a second by Commissioner Rohr. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Commissioners Heinchan,
Yes.
Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes, motion passes. Item number 3, consider an engineering service agreement amendment for Street Improvement District 236, which is the first street improvements. Jarek?
Mayor and Commissioners and Ms. Benz, good evening. For your consideration today, we have an engineering service agreement amendment from KLJ related to our first street reconstruction project. Up to this point, KLJ has completed preliminary engineering design, which we've kind of called our 30% design. This amendment would add final design and bidding support to the agreement with KLJ. The amendment would add $676,000 to the existing agreement, bringing it to a total amount of about $1.1 million. This represents about 16% of the overall project cost, which is in line with what we would expect for engineering up to this point. It is our recommendation following the May 6th determination of insufficiency of protest to take this next step necessary to continue on with this project. So we're recommending approval of the amendment, but I would be able to answer any questions if you have any.
Jarek, one of the things we promised the business owners at the May 6th meeting is that we were going to continue to engage them and try and find solutions for their concerns. How are you going to go about that? What's your schedule?
Mayor, Commissioners, we have a tight schedule, but we do have 3 business owner meetings built into the scope of this agreement. So we are planning on making that promise come to fruition.
I would expand it to some of the owners or all of the owners in potential phase 2, so they get a feel as to how this works.
Mayor, Commissioners, we can absolutely do that.
Any other questions for Jarek?
Jarek, could you pull up the graphic that's included in this?
I will see if I can.
The 3 stages, so people can see it and understand.
Yes, I have it on the screen right here. So yeah, what this graphic is showing is that the preliminary engineering up to this point is what we just got finished with. This amendment would add final design to the engineering contract, and after design, we would plan on bidding the project, and if the bid was awarded, we would plan on having another amendment to this contract, once again, to include construction oversight. So these are planned amendments. These aren't changes in the situation.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Jarek? If not, what are your wishes?
Mayor and Commissioners, Jarek, just want to echo what the mayor said, keeping the businesses involved. I appreciate that. With that, I move to approve the amendment, including final design services as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Heinchan, a second by Commissioner Rohr. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, Mr. Neubauer.
Commissioners Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes, motion passes. Item number 4 under new business. Consider approval of the proposal to remove and replace the sewage lift pumps at the Law Enforcement Center. Chief Ziegler.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Benz, and Commissioners. I bring to you a proposal to replace the pumps, the sewage pumps at the Law Enforcement Center. The pumps have been there since 1986 and never replaced. They're not working quite right, so it is a kind of a odd odor at the Law Enforcement Center from time to time. Down in the basements where I do have employees, have been experiencing some headaches and stuff because of the sewage gets backed up down there. The Law Enforcement Center janitorial staff has to flush the system out about once a week to alleviate that smell. So I met with the sheriff, and he has put together a proposal, and according to our law enforcement agreement, anything over $10,000 has to come in front of both the city commission and the county commission for approval before we can buy the product. This is going to cost approximately $15,040, and as soon as if our commission approves it, then it moves to the county commission for approval next week. The part of our budget we do give to the law enforcement fund, which is was paid last year, was $22,500 to make that happen. So we do have about $134,000 in the law enforcement fund account. And I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions for Chief Ziegler?
Yes, Mayor and Chief Ziegler, that was the question that I had. I saw that there was a note for $50,000 contribution, so that would be split in half. So the city contributes half of that, county contributes half of that.
Mayors and Commissioner Heinchan, yes, the $50,000, we pay the portion based upon the percentage of space that we have in the law enforcement center, which we occupy a little over 10,000 square feet. The sheriff has about a little over 12,000 square feet, and then there's probably about another 1,000 to 2,000 square feet of common use areas. And so it's broken down, that 50,000 is broken down based upon our usage space and our half of the common use.
Okay. And is that a consistent yearly contribution every year on both sides? Or does that change?
Mayors and Commissioner Heinchan, yes, we pay that yearly.
Okay.
And it's usually at the very end of the year. They invoice us to the finance department, and Greg, in the kindness of his heart, pays it.
Mayor, Commissioner Heinchan, I think the change came about when they moved the jail out because there was a certain amount of space. So that caused a change in usage there because the jail space being changed over into other usage areas. So that can happen. It would change that.
Understood.
Chief, do you have any officers stationed in any of those offices downstairs?
Mayors and Commissioner Schoberg, yes, I have my evidence tech is downstairs, support services, which includes our new CERT team, are downstairs, and so is code enforcement is downstairs. The officers' locker rooms and the weight room for workout is downstairs also. So the downstairs can be a very busy, busy place. And there's also a break room down there that is also used.
When I was a member of the PD, I had an office down there when the elevator shaft had diesel fuel in it. So I know what it's all about. Experience migraines and an occasional trip outside to throw up. So, yeah, this needs to be done.
Of all the things tonight, this drew the most questions. So,
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to thank Madison for this.
Commissioners?
I move to approve using $15,040 from the LEC building fund to remove and replace the sewage lift pumps at the LEC building.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Rohr, a second by Commissioner Heinchan. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Commissioners Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes, motion passes. Item number 5, consider approval of the 2024 records disposal for the following departments. Kimberly?
Good evening, Mayor Freilich, Mayor Benz, and Commissioners. Tonight, I have a request to dispose of records in accordance with the North Dakota Century Code Records Management Act, which is 54-46-12, and the City of Mandan's Record Management Policy. Record disposal should take place every year. The City of Mandan follows the record retention schedules provided by the League of Cities and the State of North Dakota. And up on the screen here, this is the report that we use every year, and it guides us on what can be disposed of in what years. You know, like, for example, here at the bottom of this page, one of the things we get rid of on a yearly basis is your applications for like property tax exemptions, homestead credits, veterans credits, things like that can be disposed of. And so it's very formal. We know exactly what we can be disposing of on a yearly basis. If you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Kimberly?
Kim, how often do you get phone calls from our citizens pertaining to disposal of records? Does that happen a lot?
Mayors and Commissioner Schoberg, I have never had a request or a question on the records disposal.
Okay, super. So now it's completely transparent and open for all to view. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioners?
I'll move to approve the 2024 record disposal for the following departments in compliance with the record retention schedules in accordance with state law and city policy. And those departments are finance, utility, billing, and assessing.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Schoberg, second by Commissioner Heinchan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioners Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Rohr,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. Item number 6, consider providing a flex pace letters of support to the following. Redline Plumbing, Heating, and Air, LLC. Madison?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners and Ms. Benz. We'll do 2 separate motions, so we'll do the Redline Plumbing first and then the second, automotive. I'll just give a little background of what we are talking about, but the background on businesses or projects requesting a letter of support from the Mandan City Commission for an interest buy-down to the Lewis and Clark Development Group. There are loan committees for revolving loan pools managed by the Lewis and Clark Development Group that will consider applications for repayable loans for the required community share of an interest buy-down. The interest buy-downs are made available through the Bank of North Dakota, PACE, and Flex PACE programs. It's important to have the documentation of community support for use of an interest buy-down to assist the particular business or project. A letter from the City Commission confirms that a business project provides a community benefit and has the support of a governing entity. So we'll talk about the first project, and that is to consider providing a letter of support to the Lewis and Clark Development Group for a loan to finance the purchase of an additional property by Redline Plumbing, LLC. Redline Plumbing was established in April of 2013 and equally owned by longtime friends and Mandan High School graduates who currently still reside in the city of Mandan. Redline Plumbing specializes in new construction, remodels, and service plumbing. After purchasing their existing building space in 2019 and creating a successful business throughout the years, they have now outgrown their current location and are seeking assistance with permanent financing for the purchase of an additional property located at 2600 and 2602 34th Street Northwest. The potential property adjacent to their existing property sits on 1 acre of land with approximately 5,300 square feet of shop office space. This additional space will provide the opportunity to continue to grow their small business within the Mandan community. If If you have any questions or comments, I can try to take them. But otherwise, we can have that first motion, and I'll go on to the second flex pace project.
I'll move to approve providing a flex pace letter of support for Redline Plumbing and Heating and Air LLC.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Schoberg, a second by Commissioner Heinchan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioners Heinchan,
Yes.
Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. Benson?
And so the second project is to consider providing a letter of support to the Lewis and Clark Development Group for a loan to finance an expansion and a remodel of their existing location on Memorial Highway by Buller Automotive, Inc., doing business as Abrick Auto Body and Glass. Bless you. Building official Singer had touched on this kind of already of the project that Aber Auto Body and Glass is doing, but I'll just have a little brief. But Aber Auto Body and Glass has been serving the Bismarck-Mandan region since 1996. The location on Memorial Highway services Mandan and the surrounding region as the preferred auto body shop for many insurance companies. The city of Mandan and community will benefit from this project by creating additional jobs with a more streamlined service experience, as well as ABRA's team members volunteering with cleanups, donating to local charities, and giving away a vehicle to someone in need every year. And like that, if you have any questions or comments, I'd be sure to try to take them more.
I move to approve the providing a flex pace letter of support to Buller Automotive Incorporated.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Heinchan, a second by Commissioner Rohr. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioners Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg,
Yes.
Heinchan,
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. We'll move on to agenda item K, resolution and ordinances. Consider the financing resolution for street improvements district number 239 Memorial Highway project. Greg?
Good evening, Mayor, Honorary Mayor, and Commissioners. On November 5th of last year, the City Commission approved a resolution authorizing the filing of an application with the North Dakota Department of Environmental Quality for loans under the Clean Water Act and the Safe Drinking Water Act for the Memorial Highway Improvements Project. On March 25th of this year, the North Dakota Industrial Commission approved a $6,909,000 loan and a $12,478,000 loan as requested by the City of Mandan. Just a little background, the cost of this project, the non-federal portion or the local share of this project for Memorial Highway is estimated to be about $31 million. The local funding for this project, the two loans as approved by the state of North Dakota will amount to $19.4 million. Funding from the State Water Commission, which is a grant of about $8.6 million. And then the remaining $3 million will come from the American Rescue Plan Act. The interest rate on the 20-year loans is 1.5% plus a 0.5% administration fee. Both of those amounts are determined by the state of North Dakota with the final maturity date of September 1st of 2048. The loans will be repaid by special assessments. The city is only obligated for the loan draw requests. The financial resolution or the financing resolution in front of you for approval is a requirement by the state of North Dakota. It was prepared by Baum Council, Arnston and Stewart and Wagner, and is before you for your recommendation and approval. And I will stand for any questions.
I think the obvious one is, are you going to be here when it's paid off?
If you want me to. Probably not. I probably won't be here to 2048.
Okay. Any questions for Greg?
Mayor Greg, again, I appreciate you keeping on top of these things. They're daily and they can be somewhat complicated, but you do a good job there. Thank you.
We have a good team. Engineering department, finance department, city administrator. We work together as a good team and we make these things possible. We try to make these projects as affordable as possible with the loan programs that the city would be eligible for.
And understandable to the City Commission.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Commissioners?
I'll move to approve financing resolution for Street Improvement District number 239 Memorial Highway Project.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Schoberg, second by Commissioner Rohr. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioners Rohr,
Yes.
Schoberg.
Yep.
Heinchan.
Yes.
Mayor Freilich.
Yes. We'll move on to other business and a brief statement by Commissioner Schoberg.
Thank you, Mayor, fellow commissioners. When we go back, when we go back to Madison's presentation on the Flex Pace letters of support, I think it's important to note that between the Abra Bullard brothers, Jeremy and Matthew, and the co-owners of Redline Plumbing would be Travis and Jake Hollingsworth. The total dollar value of those two improvements are roughly $2.5 million. And that's a big deal. And that's due in part to the teamwork that Greg so eloquently presented just now. Whenever you run a small business, you run into interesting challenges. Travis Berger from Redline, he and his wife left two very well-paying jobs while she was 6 months pregnant to start Redline Plumbing. His partner Jake was just admirably or honorably discharged from the United States Army after 6 years and being deployed multiple times overseas. The Bullard brothers from Abra Auto Body had similar backgrounds. Bottom line is the commitments of both businesses to our fair city of Mandan needed a little bit of appreciation and thanks. So to Redline Plumbing and to Abra Auto Body and to all the other hometown boys from Mandan that stepped forward in sometimes trying and challenging circumstances, but were diligent and followed through on their dreams. You serve as role models to our youth coming up that they can do the same thing. So thank you very much to those businesses.
Thank you, Commissioner Schoberg. Any other business? Hearing none, Mayor Benz will now take over, and she will read the future dates of the City Commission.
Future meeting dates are May 7th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m., then June 3rd, 2025 at 5:30 p.m., June 17th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m., July 1st, 2025 at 5:30 p.m.
And with that,
Be kind to your neighbor, and it's onward and upward for Mandan. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.